Welcome back to another video. Now in this video I'm not going to show you guys how to cook anything. I'm just going to show you what knives I use. Because recently I've been getting a lot of questions about what knives I use, and I thought instead of answering all these questions I'm just going to make a video. Hopefully I'll stop the questioning. Okay. These are very expensive knives and they're probably very difficult to get for the amateur chef or even the professional chef. Now I got them because Miyabi likes what I do and they sent me over some knives and their cutting board. Very, very happy about that. I mean, look at this beauty. This is just stunning. This is the 5000 MCD and these retail for 400 euros in Europe, well, 395 or something like that. The great thing about the MC5000 is the handle and the blade are equally balanced. And what this means is that when you take it by the pinch grip, you don't have to work. It stays nice and horizontal. Okay, and then you just curve your hand around it. And it just sits there. You know, that's perfect. And especially when you're doing hours and hours of cutting, then you'll feel the difference from something that's unbalanced. What's the difference between the different ranges? Because as you can see, there's 3 different ranges here. Miyabi carries about 4 actually. The order they go from, going from best to worst, is first the 7000 MCDs. Now this is 132 layers of folded steel and with a hardness of 66 on the Rockwell scale. And then after that comes the 5000 MCDs. Now these have a hardness of 63 on the Rockwell scale and have 100 layers of folded steel. So the 7000D series comes next and it has a hardness of 60 on the Rockwell scale and it's got 65 layers of folded steel. Now this hardness Rockwell scale thing probably doesn't mean a lot to most of you, and that's understandable. You probably shouldn't know about it, except for when you go to buy knives or if you're in some sort of engineering course like I used to be. So basically what the Rockwell scale is they indent the metal with a diamond tip and then they measure that indentation, and however deep it goes is relatively how hard it is. Okay, so the less deep it goes in, the more harder it is. Now the Rockwell scale is then converted so that it is higher is stronger. So 66 is harder than 63 and 63 is harder than 60 obviously. Okay, what knife do I recommend you get? Now I used to recommend to get the 7000D series because it was basically the only one I had, and it's a very nice knife. It is, but it's not as good as the rest of them. Okay, so I mean if you're gonna get one knife and you can only afford this one, it's a great knife, don't get me wrong. It's a pleasure to work with too. But what do I recommend? Now, you'd think it would be the best of the best, like the highest specifications, the best on paper what it is. Now, that would be the 7000 MCD. Now, on paper, this is a Formula 1 car. Now, why don't I recommend that one? Well, it's very simple. You don't want to go to a supermarket every day in a Formula 1 car. You can't, it's very unpractical. Now, on the other hand, this is more like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. It's the perfect balance between art, beauty and just sheer strength. And basically how this works is it's a composite blade made of a hard steel in the center and sandwiches of softer steels on the outside. Now the basic principles behind this is that a hard steel is very hard, so it'll last very long while cutting, but it's very brittle, so it'll chip, which is bad for cutting. Especially when you hit bone, it'll just chip. Now, soft steel is very soft, so it'll just wear down very fast, but it's very flexible. So what you want is the flexibility and the hardness of the hard steel. But how do we achieve this? By making a composite blade. So the center layer is the hard steel, and then it's layered with softer steels on the outside, which gives you the flexibility and the hardness on the edge to cut. So it's just the perfect sort of blade composition. Then also the 5000 MCD is finished with a beautiful birch wood, which I love. That's the reason I actually love this blade a lot too, because I just like to handle the wood. You know this quality as soon as you feel it and you're happy cutting with it. It's all about how you feel too with your blade. It's not about how great it is technically on paper. Technically, I would actually have to go for this because it's the best on paper, but I don't want to. I would much rather have this one and cut with this one every day. I hope this helps in some way when you're deciding to buy it. I don't know if it does, but... Oh yeah, I guess that's enough talking about how great the knives are, and I guess it's about time to cut something now. Alright. Okay, so I've got some household items here to cut with, and I've got a shun here to compare. This is a shun blade. Now, as you can see, brand new sponge. Okay, it didn't even cut, see? This is exactly what a shun did. Now, same sponge. That's what a Miyabi does. Okay, that's just how sharp they are. This is from factory, I didn't even sharpen this. If you don't think this tests to the quality of the knife, just try taking one of these standard sponges from home and cut it up. I mean, you should be able to find these all over the world, so. Just like butter. This is what you need to make sushi. I mean, if it can do that to sponge, what does it do to fish? That's why you want a knife that's good. Okay, now, cutting some paper. I mean, with the least of effort, just holding it softly, it just cuts through stuff. So no pressure, just straight down. Okay, now, the tomato test. I love doing this one. So basically just cut the bottom off. And now, without touching the tomato, just cut it off and then cut a very thin. Okay, I can do thinner than that, come on. A little bit thinner. Look at that, without touching the tomato. Beautifully thin Carpaccio tomato without touching it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video about comparing different Miyabi knives. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you should do so right now. On the top left corner, a link has appeared. And if you want to watch some of my other videos, how to make sushi and stuff, a link has appeared on the right, which takes you to all my other videos. Have fun, enjoy.